The mess hall of Station Kepler 442b buzzed with the usual cacophony of interspecies chatter, translator implants working overtime to convert Zephyrian clicks, Altairian harmonics, and human vernacular into comprehensible communication. Sergeant Marcus Rodriguez sat alone at the corner table, methodically consuming his protein ration while reviewing tactical reports on his datapad. Lieutenant Vextar towered over the human section, his crimson carapace gleaming under the artificial lights. Standing nearly 8 feet tall with 4 muscular arms and mandibles that could crush titanium, the Zephyrian had earned his reputation as one of the most formidable warriors in the Galactic Defense Coalition. More importantly to Vextar, he had also earned a reputation as the station's resident prankster, though his idea of humor often left other species nursing injuries. "Look at the little pink skin," Vextar chittered to his squad mates, compound eyes fixed on Rodriguez. "So focused, so serious. Like a larva pretending to be a warrior." The Zephyrian's entourage, 2 hulking corporals named Clix and Thren, clacked their approval. Vextar had been increasingly hostile toward the human contingent since their arrival 3 months ago, resentful that these soft mammals had been granted equal status in the coalition despite their obvious physical limitations. Rodriguez looked up from his datapad as the shadow fell across his table. He had dealt with Vextar's antagonism before, usually choosing to de-escalate rather than engage. The human military had strict protocols about maintaining interspecies relations, and Rodriguez took his duties seriously. "Evening, Lieutenant," Rodriguez said calmly, setting down his utensil. "Something I can help you with?" Vextar's mandibles spread in what passed for a grin among his species. "Actually, yes. I have been wondering something about human anatomy." Without warning, one of his primary arms shot out, delivering what he considered a playful tap to Rodriguez's shoulder. The impact sent the human sprawling backward, chair clattering to the floor. Pain exploded through Rodriguez's shoulder and ribs as he hit the deck plating. Around them, conversation ceased. The mess hall fell silent except for the hum of life support systems. "Fascinating," Vextar announced loudly. "I barely touched him, and he falls like a dead leaf. How did such fragile creatures ever leave their birth planet?" Rodriguez slowly pulled himself to his feet, shoulder screaming in protest. He could feel something warm trickling down his arm, probably a torn rotator cuff. His dark eyes met Vextar's compound gaze, and something cold settled in his expression. "You know, Lieutenant," Rodriguez said quietly, rolling his injured shoulder. "There's something about human anatomy you might find interesting too." Before Vextar could process the words, Rodriguez moved. Years of combat training compressed into a single fluid motion. He stepped inside the alien's reach, planted his left foot, and drove his right fist upward with every ounce of strength his compact human frame could generate. The punch connected with the underside of Vextar's jaw, just behind the mandibles. The specific angle and force created a resonance that traveled through the Zephyrian skull structure, rattling his brain against his cranial cavity like a marble in a can. Vextar's eyes rolled back, and all 8 feet of armored alien crashed to the floor like a felled tree, unconscious before he hit the deck. The mess hall remained silent for 3 heartbeats. Then someone, Rodriguez never found out who, began to clap. 20 minutes later, Station Commander Reeves stood over Vextar's prone form in the medical bay. The Zephyrian was conscious now, though groggy, and notably missing one of his prominent front teeth. The station's medical officer, Dr. Patterson, finished her scan and shook her head. "Concussion, dislocated mandible, and that tooth isn't growing back," she reported. "Your human hit him in exactly the right spot to scramble his nervous system. Remarkable precision." Commander Reeves turned to Rodriguez, who stood at attention despite his own injuries. "Sergeant, while I understand this was self-defense, striking a superior officer is still a serious offense." "Yes, sir," Rodriguez replied. However, Reeves continued, "Lieutenant Vextar's actions constitute assault on a coalition partner species. Effective immediately, he's being demoted to corporal and transferred to waste reclamation duty." Vextar's eyes widened in horror at the announcement. As for you, Sergeant, Reeves smiled slightly, congratulations on your promotion to Staff Sergeant. Apparently, there's more than one way to demonstrate leadership potential. Rodriguez learned something valuable that day: sometimes the smallest package contains the biggest surprise. Vexthar learned something too: human anatomy was indeed more interesting than he had initially thought, just not in the way he expected.